Saturday, April the 27th, about 10:06 a.m. I want to share this story with you here. Using a chainsaw. I got a phone call this morning from my fourth cousin's uncle. My fourth cousin was hurt. He has experience in the woods and he logs for a living. Alright? My fourth cousin is very robust built. His bone structure is what I would consider above average. He's about 6'3", maybe. Alright? About 42 or 3 years old, I believe. Here's what happened. He was using a bulldozer. He's experienced on a bulldozer. He's got this treetop, and he couldn't quite get all the treetop pushed out of this road for access for the landowner. You know, I guess they were getting ready to get done logging this area, whatever. Now, his uncle that called me this morning was in the area close by, but he did not see what happened. But my fourth cousin told him what happened. All right. So he takes the bulldozer and he pushes his treetop up, and he gets the treetop as far as he could get it. Now, you know, there's a hazard running a bulldozer, moving around in the woods, moving treetops. If you've got an open cage on that, you know, the front of that dozer's open, you know, you could get jobbed. You could get your jugular vein even pierced. But that's not what happened to him. He wasn't on the bulldozer when his accident happened. So I asked the question, talking to him this morning, you know, I said, well, what did he do? Did he push his treetop up and sort of let the bulldozer set still and get off with a chainsaw? You know, get off and take a chainsaw and cut this treetop, you know, on up. Well, his uncle's response to me on this phone this morning is he thought maybe he had bagged the bulldozer up just a little bit. All right. So what he was told by my fourth cousin, his uncle, who was out there with him, they worked together. He said he touched that limb with that chainsaw. Just touched it. And evidently it was under pressure. And it comes straight back. It broke his lower leg. Both bones completely off. His leg was hanging. I don't think he had any severe blood loss, and they life-flighted him. He's since returned home. This just happened not too long ago. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Okay. Moral of the story here. Now, you could have a hurricane high wind damage around your house. You don't have to be a logger like this gentleman. It can be hard to judge the stress by looking at it even. How much stress is it under? All right? Well, this limb evidently had a lot of stress on it. And it come back just like a slingshot and cut his leg off. Except it didn't cut it off. It just broke both bones. Had he have been a more petite build, it may have took his leg clean off. I don't know. Also remember this. The chainsaw didn't cause any damage to his body. That was another possibility. He probably got lucky, truth be told. Using that chainsaw, cutting something like that. Remember, if the brake doesn't get engaged on that saw with your arm as the saw moves, the chain is still turning. So be mindful. Be very mindful of cutting stuff that's over waist high with a chainsaw or up at your head level. Remember, if something goes wrong, if this limb would have hit him in the head, he'd be being planted today probably. Okay? If this limb would have hit him in the neck, he would probably be either paralyzed or be planted. But remember, the chainsaw could also be kicked back. You could have a limb hit you, and the chainsaw running with a saw blade turning could severely cut you. All right? When in doubt, figure something else out. That's the sharpshooter's take on this. I do have some experience with a chainsaw. You know, there's a few physics involved here, some geometry. Using one around trees, tree tops. I thought I would share this story. I suspect the bulldozer was up there so close that it still had the treetop under pressure, and when he touched it with that saw, it boomeranged back and did the damage. I would never take a piece of heavy equipment and push into something and leave it there. I would get away from it with the heavy equipment. At least that may let some of the tension that has developed by the heavy equipment relax itself. That's going to conclude the video. I hope everybody has a nice day.